value to it, then I'm like, okay. And he looks at me again, and he's like, why aren't you writing this down? Every day, grow your database, and every day add value to it. And I'm so glad that he insisted those words in me, because I applied them to my business ever since. And I've took importance to my database. Okay, now your database, way over here, sorry, I'm going to use the whole board, so that's why I started way over here. Your database is broken down into 3 separate sections. Number 1 is your overall database, which number 2 and 3 go under. Number 2 is your client database, and number 3, I call it your top peeps. It's actually your top people, right? So first of all, your overall database. This is the database that John Shepard was talking about. Is every day grow your database. Even if it's just by 1, if you're a real estate agent and you want to take this business serious, every day you want to grow this. How do you grow this? Who are these people? Who would be, in your opinion, you could give me an answer, who would fall into this category, your overall database?
Everybody.
What's that?
Everybody.
For example, everybody
Past
that
clients.
Past clients, right? Now this one right here. So this one does fall under this. What else?
Core influence.
What's that?
Your core people like the.
Yes, that's this one, top peeps, right?
Neighbors.
Core clients. What else?
Prospects.
Prospects, right. Those prospects, how do they get into your database though?
By lead generation.
By lead generating, for example.
Open houses.
Open houses, yes. Open houses. Cold calling, right?
Circle house.
Circle prospecting. I'll put that on the category of cold calling. Cold callers, cold calling. You know, what else?
Door
Zillow.
knocking.
What's that?
Door knocking.
Door
Paid
knocking.
leads.
Door knocking. Sign calls. Anywhere. I mean, and I wish there's still other ones I haven't included, but you get the point. You know who I would even add on here? I would add on here, by the way, I wouldn't add in here your aunts and uncles. I would only add them in there if your aunt and uncle or cousin reached out to you and asked you a question about real estate. Or if you send them an email or a message or a text like, hey, Uncle Sam, I just, that's a bad one. Uncle Tom, I just got my real estate license, just wanted to let you know. And if he replies with, that's awesome, I actually have a couple rentals, can you run comps? If he responds with that, then you add them to your overall database. Yes?
How about sphere of influence?
That's so your answer. The sphere of influence, they are in your database, but they're not in your overall database that you're going to be reaching out to. The 52 touches that I'm going to go over, I wouldn't put them in here unless they reach out to you or ask you questions about real estate. And the reason is this: your sphere would be your family, your friends, and you've already told them you're a realtor, and they haven't reached out to you or haven't, and you're constantly sending them stuff. And then you can be annoyed. So you want to reach out with the intent of adding value, not with the intent of annoying them and then them completely blocking you off forever. The idea is you do want to reach out to your sphere, but in a way where they respond to you by saying, "Hey, I saw you were doing an open house and this really amazing house. Where is that house at?" If they seem that interested, then you can add them to your overall database and you can start dripping on them and start communicating with them a little bit more. But if they never reach out to you, they could be your cousin, they can be your neighbor, and you've already told them you're a real estate agent. You've already put on Facebook, and they haven't said anything to you, leave it. Yeah.
Don't you send, let's say, 4th of July card, Christmas card, or let's say using different occasions to send congratulations or...
So my top peeps are also fall under my overall database. There's a category on here that I call my favorite people, and I'm going to go over that in a little bit.
Okay.
My favorite people are people in my sphere that I do reach out to, and I do send them birthday things, and I do give them certain things, but and they never bought or sold with me, but they are part of my favorite people, so they are getting stuff from me constantly. Now, that list, and I'm going to go over there right now, that constantly change. Your overall database, people that have ever reached out to you, this one doesn't change. add people to it. The ones that are going to constantly change is the top peeps one, right? This one constantly changes, and I'll go over that here in a little bit. The client database, those are people who buy or sell with you. That one you constantly, hopefully, you constantly add to it, right? People who have already bought or sold with you. And this one, you want to add it, even if it's just by one. You always want to add this, whatever CRM you're using. If you're using an Excel spreadsheet, you can use a notepad. You can use, Wise Agent. That was really cheap. You can use Big Purple Dot. That's the one I use. You can use a Ferrari of the CRMs. You can use Shebang, right? You can whatever. The idea is have something where you are adding everybody who reaches out to you in some type of a list, and you want to add it at least by one. If you haven't added somebody and it's 6 p.m., go door knock your neighbors. Seriously, go cold call. Do something to add at least one person. If you didn't add anybody yesterday, well, guess what? Today you need to add 2. But if you have that mindset, like, I need to grow this database. Every day I need to grow it by at least 1. So that means that every year you're going to grow at least 365. That database will grow to 365 people. Okay? So I've been in the business now for 6.5 years. So 365 times 6.5 years is about 2,000. My overall database is actually about almost 4,000. But you get the idea. Every day you want to grow that database. Even if it's just by 1, you want to grow it. If you can grow by more, great. But minimum, I'm going to grow by 1. If I haven't added anyone to my database in the last week, I need to grow by 7. What's the best way to grow? Get 7 people. All these right here. Right? Okay, well, I don't have Zillow. Okay, cold call. Well, I don't like to cold call. All right, then door knock. Well, I don't like to door knock. All right, then. I mean, you do something. You gotta like to do. You're in the real estate business. You gotta like to do something, right?
Are
Yeah.
these database, are these like the people you're going to be emailing?
And I'm gonna go over the touches right now, and I'm gonna pass out to everybody everything that I do.
Okay.
Yeah, without being annoying. So, and I'm gonna show you what I do to each one. Okay. All right. So that's your overall database. Your second one is your client database, and I already told you what that one is. What is your client database?
People that buy or have bought or sold.
People who have bought or sold with you, right? But let's just mark those right now. This was worse.
We have an answer for another one.
No, I got a few more. I got a few more to go through. This was better. All right, people who have bought or sold with you. Who else can be added to your client database?
People you're currently working with?
That you've done
No.
people that have done rentals with you.
Yes. Rentals. What else? I'll give you a good idea. Anybody here used to be or is a hairstylist? Or, massage therapist? Or that has done taxes? Or has done whatever type of other industry?
Bartender.
Bartending, yes. And you have I think they call them their
Regulars.
regulars, right? Those people you add. Those people are your client database. These are people who like you. These are people who have come back to you and trusted you with some type of a service that past clients from past industry, whatever industry you used to do before. Right? In my example, I used to do loan mods. In 2008 through 2010, I used to do loan modifications. If you don't know what that is, that's when you call the bank and you negotiate the mortgage payment and drop it. It's kind of like a refi without paying for closing costs, and you negotiate with the bank to drop the monthly payments of clients. I did that from 2008 through 2010. What was going on during that time?
Oh, hell.
Yes, what was going on during that time? That's when people were going to foreclosure. And in my community, the Hispanic community, a lot of them were being defrauded by thousands and thousands of dollars. So I was a voice already in the community. They trusted me, and I was able to help out a lot of them avoid foreclosure by doing loan modifications. So I found a need, and I filled the need by providing a service to communicate with the bank and finding out the formulas to be able to work out deals with the bank to lower their payments. So all those, as soon as I got my real estate license in April 2011, literally the next day I already had 40 signed listing agreements. All of them were short sales. Why? Because all the loan mods that I did, not every one of them, but most of them came back and said, hey, you got my payment, it used to be $1,900, now it's only $900. Thank you, but I owe 350,000 and my house is only worth 80,000.
Right.
I want out. The only way you can get out by at least salvaging your credit a little bit is by doing a short sale, which is a foreclosure. So literally I hit the ground running. So that's a great example of how my past clients automatically turned into clients. Yes.
Okay, so, and I don't know, I know several people here, but I'm a home warranty person, but I get this question all the time from agents is, okay, I'm really ready now to start marketing. I'm gonna get in touch with my database. I'm gonna do back to basics. So do you have a recommendation, or are you gonna have a recommendation for, how do you get in touch with
I'm glad you
clients
mentioned
that
that.
you haven't talked to
Okay,
in
so
a year?
I'm glad you mentioned that because so every teacher, every class you go to, or every mentor, especially in a big group setting like this, it is important to know what lane you are in and what lane the person, not only which lane you are in, but where you're going, and what lane the person that is teaching, the teacher, and what lane that they are in and where they are going, right? It's not right for me to say, well, you know, I spend over $20,000 on my reaches, my gifts, my everything I do for my database, about 20 grand. On Zillow, I spend less than 9,000 a year. So that's a huge difference versus the majority of top producing agents. It's like completely reversed. You know, they spend over $20,000. A lot of them over $20,000 a month, not a year. I spend $20,000 a year on this. A lot of these top producing agents spend 20 grand a month on Zillow, and on their database maybe $500 a month. So it's completely reversed. But anyways, my point is, know your lane and know where you're going, and know where the teacher's lane is and where they're going. You can't adapt everything exactly the way the teacher may be teaching, but you can adapt it to the lane you're in and where you're going. Does that make sense? For example, and I'm going to pass this out here in a little bit. I do 4 big events for my overall database, my client database, and my top people. I do 4 big events throughout the year, right? Now, my top 150 people is actually about 165. Your lane may be, well, I don't have that many people. I have 50 people. Hey, that's great. Then you adapt whatever I'm going to give you. You adapt that to the lane that you are in and where you are headed, right? My overall database is 3,800 people. Your overall database may only be 200 people. That's okay. What I'm going to give you, you adapt it to where you are at. And that's very important too. That's a great question. So how do I get started? And if someone was to ask, if a brand new agent was to ask me, how do I get started? So the question would depend on, okay, a lot of it would depend on where are you at right now? What did you used to do? Especially if you were a bartender. Bartenders, by the way, they make great real estate agents. A lot of great real estate agents that I know used to be bartenders. Bartenders, right? Hairstylists. If they used to be, I don't know, doing a lot of tax preparers also do great when they become real estate agents. So it depends. If they're like, well, I didn't do any of that. I was doing construction. Okay, or I just moved here from California. Then I know they have no database at all, right? So they're starting from scratch. Okay, well, even if you don't like to cold call or do open houses, that's what you're going to have to do. So a lot of it will depend. But if they did some type of industry where they have past people and they're likable and they have a large following on social media, hit that. Do a social media. Do a post about how you are doing an open house at this house, and you start getting momentum. You reach out to if you have a big family. I come from a very big family. I have about 130 or 140 cousins here, all that live in.
Wow.
I know. So when I got my real estate license, people say, well, that's not fair. Like, I have a big family. Well, the thing is that I have a big family, but they like me. So you kind of have to be likable. If you do this kind of stuff, you'll be likable. Just don't be annoying, right? Don't be annoying. Don't be, hey, I sell houses. Hey, I sell houses. Hey, I sell houses. They know you sell houses. Once you tell them, I just wanted to let everybody know I'm a real estate agent. Once you throw out a text message everywhere, put that on social media, they know. Okay? Maybe put it on your Facebook, put it on when people click your profile, they see real estate agent in my home group. They know. You don't constantly have to tell them. You can tell them by doing the things I'm going to show you right now. Okay? I keep pointing at this, so I really want to pass this out. So, know your lane, and whatever I'm going to show you and go over, adapt it to where you are at. Even though you may not have 360 close clients, you may have 10. Okay, you have 10. You may have 5. That's fine, you have 5. But remember, what about if you add the past industry? Oh, now you have 50. Now you have 60. But you add those, okay? All right, going back to this. So, client database is everybody from your past industry or rentals or bought or sold with you. And then the last one is your, I call it the top peeps. What is that? The top peeps are broken down into 3 different categories. And it's your top 50 clients, your top 50 BUSN business people, and your top 50 favorite people. This system was by the core training. If you guys have heard of the core training, this is where I got that from. And the idea is to get a list of your top 50 clients. Again, if you've only had 10 clients, okay, yours is 10. If one of those 10 happens to be this douchebag, really mean guy, take them out. Don't include them. You don't want mean people in your top list because you're going to constantly be, I don't want to be giving a cupcake to somebody who's a complete jerk with me doing the transaction. Get them out, right? And if you invite, you don't want to be inviting them to your client events because they're going to be there with, the sourpuss face. And you want your client events to be happy and join and just nice, right? So you want to put your nice clients in there. So even though if you had 15 past clients, but 2 of them are jerks, then you only have 13. But start there. Did you have your hand up?
Yes, business people, are those vendors?
Yes.
Okay.
There's not only vendors, they can be vendors, they can be tax preparers,
Okay.
they can be divorce attorneys. That's a huge one that I've been wanting to get into and I've never had the time or the energy or the system to do it. So divorce attorneys is a big one. One of the biggest agents, he has a huge account with 3 divorce attorneys. He works the Central Corridor area. You might know his name. His name is Bobby Lee.
Oh, yeah.
He gets most of his business from divorce attorneys. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh.
And that's the reason why he hates rating systems. Not rating systems, but reviews, because when a couple is getting divorced and they sell a house, there's always going to be one that is not happy. So all the review, that's the reason why he doesn't have reviews, because there's always somebody in the transaction that is not happy. So I don't know if you knew that. But divorce attorneys that would be a great business person to have in there. My biggest referral sources from the business people are investors and tax preparers. So during tax season, I do this every February. I go around and bring donuts and coffee to a bunch of tax offices, and I leave my cards and I leave some flyers, and I get tons of referrals from them. Okay, so and then and it doesn't stop there. So I reach out to them. I reach out to them for their birthday. I reach out to them on the 4th of July. I reach out to them for Christmas. I reach out to them Mother's Day. So it's not just like, hey, it's tax season, so you're going to give me some business. Here's some donuts. I'm always constantly in touch with them because I'm not the only realtor that shows up to their office. What's going to set you apart? I'm not the only realtor. I mean, I go there with donuts and my cards, and I already see like 15 other realtors already brought their flyers and stuff. But if there's somebody that's been on my list for some time, they're getting my cupcakes. I'm sending them flowers for any life events. Like, they're hearing from me throughout the year. So all the other business cards that the realtors bring in are in the garbage, right, when I walk in. And they leave my stuff out because I'm constantly in touch with them. So top 50 business people is vendors. It can be loan officers, as long as it's a loan officer that will give you leads. It can be home warranty people. It can be title people, as long as it's people that are working with you to build your business and give you leads. Now, these people are a little bit different because these might not be people that are your past clients, have bought or sold with you. They can be like an example I said. It can be a divorce attorney that you're trying to get your foot in the door, so you bring them. Same thing that home warranty reps and lenders and title reps do to us. They may bring us coffee. They may invite us out to lunch. They may invite us to go golfing. We would do the same to the attorneys, right? We want to bring them coffee, invite them out for lunch, and trying to get your foot in the door to give your 3 minutes. They have less time than we do. Give your 2 or 3 minute sales pitch on why they want to use you. And obviously throughout the course of time, you're giving them birthday things. You're sending them, you're adding value. But after like 6 or 7 months, if they haven't given you any business, then you take them out and you add somebody else in. Okay? That's why this list I mentioned over here, the top peeps, that list is constantly changing. It's never going to be perfect, and it's constantly going to change. Okay. For example, I should have top 50, 50, 50. My top 50 clients is actually like a 76, 77. My favorite people is like a 61. Business people is like at 23. I'm slacking on that one. My favorite people is like a 61. Yes.
So like on the top clients, so you're saying if you don't get a referral from your clients, your past clients, go ahead and remove them
Yeah.
after 6-7 months?
After a certain amount of time, if they don't, no, I will give them a year.
Give them a year.
These people, though, the business people,
Gotcha.
because these people at least already bought with me,
Okay.
right? So I'll give them a little bit more chance, a longer time. Or they can be people that are not that, they're in my 300, I'm going to write up, so this one's about 360 on this one. This one's at about 160 or so. And then this one's about 4,000 people, right? So it could be one of these people that all of a sudden referred somebody to me. All right, so I'm going to add them in here, right? And then if I already have, and I've been slacking on it, I've been kind of busy. So that was like at 76, it shouldn't be that high. I need to go in there and find out who hasn't referred me for the last 18 months. And I got to take them out. And I'm replacing them with people that have been referring to me. Does that make sense? So this list is constantly changing. And on the business people, I'm slacking. Like I said, I have to get caught up. I'm not perfect. But I have 23 on there. But I think they're 23 solid. I need to add some people and court some business people, right? Questions on that? Okay, and your favorite people, by the way, your favorite people are people that have not bought or sold with you, but have referred business to you. And it can also be people that you would like to do business with. For example, it can be your yoga instructor. It can be, somebody in your soccer mom club. It can be, your pastor. It can be, your kid's teacher. It can be your neighbor. It can be whoever. You can add people to add people you like to your favorite people. Anybody you add on this list, you have an eye on them. You're watching what they do. You're following them on social media. You're giving them. I'm going to show you what I've been giving them. I'm going to pass this out finally. I've been talking about it and pointing at it. This is the 52 week, and if you notice on here, I call it the 56 week, and then I'll tell you why. And you can pass those for you guys and the people behind you. And pass this over right here. Okay.
Oh, what was your CRM?
I use Big Purple Dot. I have two CRMs. I have Commissions Inc. I do that for all my prospecting and for my overall database. But for my top database and for my close clients, I use Big Purple Dots. When I got into that one, it was only like $10 a month. So I got grandfathered in. I think now it's like 40 or 50 bucks a month. And it does what I need to do, which is collect emails, phone numbers, addresses, and reminders of birthdays, and email blasts and text blasts. Yeah.
Do you keep the same database, two of the CRMs you're using?
So on this one, I keep my overall database on Commissions Inc. because Commissions Inc. is easier to do email blasts, and if they want to do their own search on Commissions Inc., they can do their own web search. So that's why I use that one for my overall database. For my client database, I use Big Purple Dot. The reason I have that separate is because this one is this one over here, the overall database, is kind of pressuring you to buy a house. Hey, here's me new houses on the. Hey, here's this another house that came up in the market. Big Purple Dot is like these are clients that are solid. I know they're going to buy with me. I know they're going to sell with me. So I don't have to be as aggressive with Commissions Inc. on that one, and I don't want to bombard them too. So they're on this list on Big Purple Dot where I reach out to them, and here's how I reach out to them. You have that now with you, and I'll go over it really quick. Now, if you notice, I put 56 weeks, and the reason why is because, and I'm going to do it again. When I start planning in October, so it overlaps. That's all. So, for example, at the end of this year in October, I'm going to start on week 51, and I'm going to do 56-week touches, and I'll add those 6 weeks to the following years of touches. Does that make sense? So that's why it says 56 weeks, but it could be 52 weeks. So obviously, this is what I've been doing since mid-October. There's a few tweaks that have changed, and I can tell you what those are. What I changed was in my March 15th happy hour, I actually did it on March 22nd, and it wasn't for, you notice it's highlighted in yellow. So you go to the second page. On the second page on the bottom, Everything that's highlighted in yellow is your overall client data. I'm sorry, is your overall database. Everything highlighted in green is your client database, and everything highlighted in blue is your top peeps. Make sense? Okay, let's go back to page 1. So the only tweak that I did different so far, and I'm sure there's, again, not everything's going to be perfect, there's going to be changes, and that's okay. You just roll with the punches and adapt and move on forward. March 15th happy hour, I did it on March 22nd. And I didn't, it says it's highlighted in yellow. I was supposed to invite my overall database, but instead I just invited everybody in green. I invited my client database, and the reason why is because you invite 4,000 people and like 500 RSVP, that's hard to throw a happy hour for 500 people. It gets kind of pricey, and I'm on a budget, right? Even though it's a lot of people that go to my happy hours, I'm still on a budget, so I'm to the point where my client database is already at 400, almost 400. I can just invite them to happy hours now and not my overall database. But when I started, you know, my overall database was only at 1,000, so I would invite all of them. So that recently changed, okay? Anyway, so let's start from the very top. You notice that's in blue. That's so that who do I invite in blue?
Top peeps.
Top peeps.
Yes, top peeps is in blue. And I did a VIP dinner. By the way, I call it VIP dinner because I can't call it client appreciation, just to be to see if PP doesn't come back and try to get me for something. Because if you call it client appreciation, you're giving something back. It's silly, but you want to abide by the rules. So I call it VIP events. So the VIP dinner that I did was I invited my top 150 people and to the Henry. Invited them to the Henry for a nice dinner. Not all 160 show up. Not all 160 show up. Out of the 80 of them will show up. Half of the top data, your top peeps, half of them will show up to your events. Even if a third of them show up, that's still pretty good. So I did a really nice dinner. That one was my priciest one. But I don't pay for it on myself. You got vendors that help you out, right? You got home warranty that chips in a little bit. You got your title rep that's pitching a little bit. You got the lender that chips in a little bit, and then you chip in the rest. Yeah.
What do you usually budget for these 150 dinners?
So the 150. This dinner was this one was about $6,000.
Okay.
So divide, and the lender, you, and the title, we pay the biggest portions, and then your inspector and home warranty, they make less money per transaction, so they only chip in about 200 to 300 per, and then your lender and your title rep, they pitch in about 1,500 a piece, and then you do the other 1,500.
But I see people do all kinds of creative things.
Yeah.
If you don't have that kind of budget,
Again, stay in your lane, right?
vendors,
Yeah.
because they've seen
Yeah.
it all.
Yes.
So, I mean, I've
Right.
done everything from like barbecues to,
I
I
did
had
that.
one agent that combined it with like an open house, and they invited all their clients to the
Yeah.
open house.
Like
I mean,
an
I've seen
open
it all.
house.
Last year, the one I did one last 2 years ago, which I'm going to do if you go to week number 50. Week number 50. That's actually on week 54. I'm going to do the VIP picnic. Right, so VIP picnic is going to be out in the park. So that one's the budget's not going to be $6,000. It's probably going to be $3,000. But that one, the top peeps bring their kids, and you want them to. You want it to be fun. So more people show to that one, but it's less expensive because you're not buying a steak from Henry. You're grilling a hot dog on the grill, so it's a lot cheaper. But yes, right, like I mentioned earlier, stay in your lane. You adapt all this to where you are at and your budget and where you're going to go to, right? And obviously the idea is to go into another lane and move up, right? But know where you are at now. Don't go into something so crazy. Again, I have a big database. I've been doing this now for 3.5 years. Constantly adding value to my top peeps that already have a strong. People already refer me a lot of business, so that's the lane that I'm in, right? But yeah, the one I'm doing on June 21st. That's week number 36. I'm doing a VIP movie, so I'm inviting my close clients because that one's also very inexpensive. It's only $1,200 for 250 people. I'm gonna rent out a theater for 200. That sits 250, and it's only like $1,200, $1,300. So that's pretty inexpensive. And again, lender, title, and then pitch in, so it comes out pretty inexpensive to bring out 250 people. And that's going to be a movie. So we're going to watch The Incredibles Part 2. You rent out a whole theater. And I've seen other agents do it. I've never done it myself. It's the first time that I do it.
I've done it once. It's all
Yeah? Tell me about it, about how much you spent, how big was
Well,
it?
I rented a theater that held like 85 people, and I made it a little smaller. And with everyone pitching in, I spent like less than $200.
Nice.
It was great, and
Which theater?
I went to Harkins on Section 3 Harkins, and I took 5 minutes in advance just to talk to everyone about why I'm doing it, thank them, that kind of stuff. It was cool.
Nice.
And my
Did you
daughter
do, like,
went around and
popcorn
pestered
or-
everybody and pulled their hair and stuff. I didn't pay for their popcorn, but they have options where you can do that for like $5 a person or something
Right.
like that.
2 or 3 bucks, yeah.
Or you can pay $1 a seat, I think, to be able to bring food in,
Bring your own stuff.
like an extra $1 or $2 per person. You could bring in like a table and have outside food brought in, they just always bring in popcorn. So it was super cheap. If you do it on a weekday especially, you doing a weekend?
Yeah, I'm doing it on Thursday.
Yeah, The Incredibles, you're right, The Incredibles, Thursday, I guess, when I did it too,
Yeah.
so The Incredibles, I did it for Spider-Man Homecoming. And
Nice.
so everyone brought their kids and it was great.
Yeah, you want to do a kids movie,
Yeah, totally.
because that's when they'll come, especially
Yeah,
if the
that's
kids.
awesome.
And it's during the summer, so the kids are not in school, and it's before, I think the cutoff time is 5 p.m. and the tickets almost double, so I did it before that time. So I mean, you work around your budget, you talk to your vendors and see where you guys can work out, but it's definitely, and now, you notice each event has, if you start at the VIP dinner, there's 5 weeks, right, that leads up to the actual events. You go to the happy hour, the one I did in March. There's 5 to 6 weeks that lead up to that event. The VIP movie, there's 5 or 6 weeks that lead up to that event. And then my last event that I'm going to do is the one in October, the VIP picnic. Also 5 weeks out that lead up to that event. So those 4 events, each one of those take between 6 to 7 weeks of touches, of reaching out, of preparation. So already right there, you already got rid of 28 weeks out of your year. And the referrals, I get more referrals from the reaching out than the actual events. The event is to have fun.
Right.
This is a hard, a lot of people think it's an easy industry. Agents call me, say, oh, it's easy money. I was like, no, it's not. It's not easy. I mean, we may make it look easy, and a bunch of other dumb realtors always saying Realtor Live posting $20,000 checks is stupid, and that's the reason they might think it's easy, but it's not easy. It's not easy. It's hard work. So have fun while you're doing this, doing this business. So the event is for you to have fun with your clients, with people that show up. Just have a good time. Yeah.
If you don't mind me adding, honestly, anyone here ever done Mike Ferry? And he teaches you to call everyone that you know like every 30 days or something and say who you know looking to buy or sell real estate. It only takes about 3 of those calls before they'll never answer the phone for you. Never answer the
Exactly.
line.
Yes.
And that's why I do a lot of these same events too. Like, you want people to look forward to seeing you call it because they know something fun's about to happen.
Exactly.
That's
Yes,
it.
yes, yes.
Exactly.
Wow.
When I call people, they still remember the one they still remember, and that's the reason why I wanted to do the VIP picnic, because I did that a couple years ago, and every time I call people to see how they're doing or whatever, they always mention, when are you going to do another picnic? That was so much fun because we had games, we brought out animals, kids and pets, and that we brought 2 ladies that made 2 different taco people making tacos on the spot. We had a blast, and people to this day remember every time I call them. That event was so much fun. When you can do something like that again, so that's why I'm doing another one of those. So the event is to have fun. The leads come in when you're calling them for the invites. Okay, now let's go over one of them. For example, which one should we do? I'm not going to do the VIP dinner because right afterwards was the Thanksgiving, so I had to do something else different on that one. So let's go to the VIP movie, for example, on week 32. The first week, invites are out, right? And it can be like a text message, or it can be an actual mailed invite. This one I'm going to do a mailed invite. The second week, I'm going to do an email blast and a voicemail blast. What is a voicemail blast?
Slide out?
Yes.
Slide broadcast?
Slide broadcasting. Slide dial, I think, is one person. Slide broadcasting is you can do multiple people with one voicemail. Okay? So I do one voicemail and say, hey, just wanted to reach out to you and invite you to the, make sure that you got my invitation that I sent last week to the VIP movie that I'm having on June 21st. I'm really excited for that. Let me know if you can make it. Send it out. One click of a button sends it out to 360 people. All of them get my voicemail. I need to block out like 2 hours because as soon as I do that, what starts happening? Yes, people start calling me back. My phone blows up right after I send it out. But a lot of those calls I'll be like, RSVP me, or I can't make it, I'm going to be out of town, whatever. And you take notes of all this, who's gonna make it, who's gonna be out of town, and I'll tell you, and you'll see why in a little bit. Third week, now you get calls to get the RSVPs. Hey, I know I got a text from you last week, we were gonna go, just wanted to make sure. How many are you bringing your kids? How many are you bringing? Oh, just yourself? Okay, just one person. And you make an actual list of everybody that's coming. Following week is your final detail preparations. And that can be phone calls if the people that didn't answer you last week. That can be talking to, the vendors, collecting the payments, calling the actual place you're having the events, doing your final detail preparations. The following week are the reminders to the RSVPs. Those calls need to happen one day before or the day of. Reminding everybody who RSVP, let's say out of the 360, let's say only 120. And if you do a smaller event, you send out 50 invites, only 25 RSVP. You call it 25, that 25 might go down to 18 or 19, right? So you call them up to remind them and get a final count. And then I like to do the day before because I always call the place I'm doing the event and giving them the final head count. But you can do the day of or the day before. Then that week you do the actual events, and then look what happens the following week. You send thank you cards to everybody who went to the events. And then the following week, you do the calls to the people. Who do you call? You call the people who told you they couldn't make it, and some of them might have told you why they couldn't make it. We went out of town. Hey, sorry you missed that event we had a couple of weeks ago. How was Disneyland? Whatever. Just call them to let them know, like, hey, I'm sorry you missed it. Or if they RSVP'd and for whatever reason they couldn't make it, hey, I noticed you RSVP'd. You didn't make it, everything okay? Yeah, some issue came up. Oh, man, hope everything's okay.
Just don't rub it in too much.
Right. Yeah. Oh, they'll, as soon as when you start doing, after your third or fourth one, they look forward to your calls. Yeah. Okay. So that alone right there took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks on that one. All right. Now I'm gonna go over a few things. 11:45, so I got 15 minutes. Before I move on to what EOS is on there, LOH is on there. I'm gonna go over what those are. Any questions up until now?
Do you advertise your events on your blog or anywhere?
No.
Anything people can go and check?
No. I did advertise it early on when I first started doing it, just because at first I was only inviting them, but then I started inviting them. But at first, when I only had 60, 70 people here, I would do a happy hour and I would invite. I did one flyer. In the front, I did a happy hour that I was doing, and in the back was an open house I was doing the following day. So I did the open house on the Saturday, and I did a happy hour on the Friday, and I invited out to the whole, like the first 500 closest house to the house I was doing open house on. I did that once, but no, I invite just my client database. I don't put it out like on Facebook, sponsored events or anything like that. I may do a Facebook event where I invite them only, but I don't sponsor it. I did do it early on in my career to grow my database. So you could do that. Maybe mix it up with an open house like I did.
Facebook, probably not a group. Do you have all these groups, all these databases as groups, built up as groups on Facebook?
Okay, I do have one group.
Or pages over there?
I have one group for these people.
Okay.
It's a private, closed group that not anyone can get in. I've got a request from realtors trying to get in, and I deny them because this group is only for my top.
So what do they say when you take them out of the group?
I don't take them out. I just deny them. They ask to get added in because it's your group, so you add the people you want. And then I have 3 questions to get added on. So if somebody wants to get added on, there's 3 questions on there, and the question is, are you a real estate agent? And the next question is, are you a loan officer? And the next question is, would you refer business to Daniel? Now I have realtors in there, just a few. There's a few realtors in there, but they're realtors that have referred business to me. One of those realtors that I have in there, I know I'm on his top business people list too, because he just had a client event on Saturday that he invited me to. And he had a big client event, and I did want to go, but I couldn't make it. Steve Valentine, I'm on his group, and he's on mine. And he refers business to me, I refer business to him. Why would I refer business to another realtor?
Property management, rentals.
Yeah. He does a lot of. I love the guy because he thinks outside the box. So he has ideas or ways to make stuff work that I can't make work. He does a lot of wholesale deals. So I throw him some wholesale deals and he kicks me back a referral fee. And vice versa, he throws me some clients that he doesn't want to show houses to or he doesn't want to speak Spanish to because he doesn't know Spanish. He throws those to me and I give him a referral fee. And he invites me to his client events and I invite him to my client events. And he's on my, my closed group on Facebook. And he sees what I do on there. And then I start seeing what he's doing. He copies some of the stuff, but it's okay because I like the guy. I love the guy. So what I do, I'm going to give you guys one of these secrets. What I do on this group, okay? I know I'm being recorded, so I need to be careful what I say. So what I do on this group is that I do a monthly raffle. And the legal way to do it is you add everybody to the raffle. So I add everybody to that raffle, right? And I give away good stuff. I give away iPads. I give away Keurig coffee makers. I don't just give away one prize. I give away lots of prizes. I give movie tickets, Starbucks. I give away at least 6 to 8 things every single month. And they range from like $10 gift cards to Starbucks to 2 movie tickets to like a Keurig to an iPad, right? But there's always one main big thing. And it's always between $200 to $400 price value, the thing at the end. I throw everybody in there, but I don't know how it works, but it works all the time. The winners happen to be the people that refer business to me that month. How does it work? I don't know. But
Wow.
yeah,
Mysticism.
I throw everybody in there, and the legal way around throw everybody in there, and the winners happen to be the people. So I do that every single month, and guess what? They're excited about that raffle. When is it coming up? Oh man, because they know, like, man, I know. You know what I mean? I gotta be so.
Positive reinforcement.
Yeah, and and every time I do that, like the following day, I'll have 2 or 3 referrals come in from that list.
Do you do it at the same time every month, or do you change it up?
I change it up, and I should do it like every first of the month or every last Friday of the month.
Do you call them? Raffle is coming? Is this another
No,
point
I don't call them. I post it on that group.
on that group?
Say, hey, raffle's coming tomorrow.
Okay.
What else would you post in the group besides your raffles?
I do raffles, live videos. I'll do anything that I can add value. For example, my house. I live in a 1960 house, so it's an older house, and it had foundation issues. It had like a big old crack on the side, and the rebar was coming out. And I was going crazy figuring out how to fix this thing, and I called different companies. I finally found a really good company, Arizona Foundation Solutions, and they give me a great deal. And they tell me I'll give 25% off to any client that you send over here. So I put that on there. So I put stuff like anything that I can add value to them, I'll put it on there. Yeah,
It's like perfect timing. I'm doing the same stuff. I'm so glad you're here.
nice.
Good stuff.
I said I was giving out some top secrets. There's a top secret right there. And this thing that I'm giving you, I don't give this to anybody, so you're getting some good stuff. I'm glad you came to the class. You're getting some good stuff on here. Really quick, I have a little bit of time left, so I'm going to go over what EOS means and what LOH mean, okay? So, you're going to see LOH on week number 6, which is Thanksgiving week. Anybody know what LOH stands for?
Letter of the heart?
Yes, letter of the heart. What is the letter of the heart? Letter of the heart is just that. It's a letter that comes from your heart. And it's a letter saying, no, on this letter, don't tell them you're number 1, you're the best real estate agent. That comes on the EOS. That's your evidence of success. Your LOH is a letter that comes from your heart, just talking about your fears, your failures, what you're thankful for. So that week, obviously, it was Thanksgiving week. So I sent it out it's in green. I sent it out to my overall database. But if you look at the other LOHs, a lot of them are blue. I sent them only to my top 150 list. I talk about, for example, when my weakest month ever was last year in April, and this April is going to beat it, but last year in April was my biggest month ever in real estate. And I remember I was running around doing these meetings and doing all this stuff, and I remember I was getting this call from an unknown number, but I was in the middle of something, I couldn't get it, and they were calling me. It was like the 7th or 8th time they were calling me, and I'm like, this person really needs to get a hold of me. And I finally answered, and it's a number that I don't know, and it's my wife just crying hysterically. So, and I couldn't even understand what she was saying. So can you imagine what I felt during that time? And she told me when I could understand and I heard the kids crying in the background. So I'm like freaking out, like, calm down and tell me what's happening. So I got in a car accident. What happened? I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And are the kids okay? And I remember I left I was in the middle of a mastermind. I was about to speak, and I said, I gotta go. And I wrote a letter to my overall database saying how one call can change everything and put everything in perspective really fast. One call, even one call from the doctor can change your journey, can change your life, can change your, we're moving so fast, and it just takes that one call to put things into perspective. And thank God that everybody was okay. The kids were shaking up. She was shaking up because she didn't know what had happened. And it's not that, I thought she blacked out, but it's not that she blacked out.
No.
It's that when she got hit, there was airbags everywhere, and she didn't know where she got hit from. And she said, I don't know what happened. All these airbags came out, and I thought a bomb went off. But thank God it didn't happen. So that's a letter of the heart, right? And those type of letters that you're like real and you're raw and you're talking about, you get responses. Where you say, I'm number one, that gets annoying. But when you're real like that with people, when you expose your heart to people like that, you're likable. People like you. I can relate to you, right? Like the letter of the heart that's going out. It's kind of controversial, so it's only going out to my top peeps, people that like me. That's why you don't want no jerks in here, right? You only want people that like you in here. The letter that I'm sending out, it's kind of controversial, but to some people it may be, but not to them, because these people know me and they love me. And it's a letter about this woman that was crossing the desert in the hottest month of the year in August, and in 1979, and she happened to be 8 months pregnant during that time, and she, many times she said she wanted to quit, and she literally, her prayer to God was, just take me, I'm done, I can't do this no more. But she kept hearing his voice saying, don't quit, don't stop, I have a plan and I have a purpose. Keep going, I have a plan and I have a purpose. And in that letter, I say, I don't know what that purpose was. Maybe it was that a few years later, my personal favorite president, Ronald Reagan, maybe it was his amnesty and she was able to have her residency and then citizenship, her and her whole family, because of that one baby that was in her stomach during that time. I don't know if the plan or purpose was, for this kid to serve in the inner city youth for 15 years, encouraging kids to keep off of drugs and off the streets and live a life for God. I don't know if that purpose or plan for that kid was to help over 300 families obtain home ownership. I don't know what that plan or purpose was. But whatever it was, I know that I'm going to live my life honoring the decision of my mom not to quit in that desert. And that's the letter.
That
That's
was
it.
your mom?
That was my mom. And my letters, it's from the heart. And I mean it. Like,
And that was in 1979?
I was born 1979 October, so now you kind of know how
Oh,
old I
that was
am.
you?
Yeah.
You're a baby.
38. Thank you.
You're a baby.
Thank you. So you become real with your clients, and that's how you connect with them. And there's ways, obviously, you connect. There's another class where I teach where you do stuff with these top 150, like you follow their life events, and they have a loss in the family, you send them flowers. They have an anniversary, you send a champagne bottle. So there's different things that you can do, right, that you keep in touch with them. And then added the letter of the heart, and forget it. You're going to be the agent they call on every single time they think about real estate. Yeah.
The letter of the heart, do you email it? Do you actually mail one?
Mail it.
You mail it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mail it and sign, and literally I
Right.
sign all 150 or 160.
And I assume you don't put branding and marketing stuff on that. It's not from, my home group this or
No.
Barraza group that or none of that, right? It's
No.
just- And I can imagine people probably, it's like unusual to get a letter from somebody. It's so unusual these days.
Right. Nobody's doing it.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing it. And I think that goes a long way. And again, it's very personalized. If people get that letter and they read it, it's very personalized. And I do get a lot of, response, like text messages and like, oh, that happened to me too, or oh, this happened. You connect with your clients in a whole deeper way. So that's what LOH means, letter of the heart. And I put it in my calendar. I did one for Thanksgiving. I got one coming up next week. That's the one I'm gonna do the story I just mentioned. I got another one on week 39. That's a halfway through the year, letter of the heart. That goes out to all my clients, to my soul clients. And yeah, I thought there should be one more. 1, 2, 3. There's only 3. The EOS stands for evidence of success. That one is the one that is branded. That one's the one that they know you're a realtor and they know you are a badass, right? That's the one EOS is evidence of success. For example, if you notice, I did one last week. The one I did last week, that was, week number 25. I did an EOS email blast on that one. I put, it's a picture of 4 houses so far this year. And the very first house was days on market with other agent, 250 days. Days on market with Daniel Barraza, 4 days, multiple offers, right? Boom, evidence of success. That's a great example of one evidence of success. And then there's 3 other properties, similar stories. Evidence of success, I can sell these houses. These agents couldn't, I could. So it's kind of like, don't mean to toot my own horn, but toot kind of thing, right? And you put your brand all over that one. Notice there's about 5 of those. Those I sent, notice that one is in yellow. So that one goes to your overall database. Because your client database, they already know you're the best. They already love you. Even if you're not the best, they're going to say you're the best. They already love you. But I send it out to the overall database because they're the ones I need to convince, like, hey, use me. Because all those evidence of success are going to be in yellow because they go to them. All 4,000 of them get that email. Every single year, the one I'm really excited about is week number 29, Mexican word of the day. I do it every single de Mayo, and because I get such a good response from that one, like, you know, because it's in yellow, so it goes to my overall database. A lot of people that don't ever respond to me, right? People that clients have, they stop answering me, and they answer me to that one. What time is it? I got just 2 minutes, so I'll do it really quick. I'll give a quick story about that one. On the evidence of success, on the Mexican word of the day, I did one a couple years ago. This lady that went to my open house, and it was about 3 years ago, I did an open house, and this snobby lady came in. I remember she was so snobby. She was saying, this house is never going to sell. And my house was like on Central and Peoria, kind of like going up the mountain. So it was about $280,000 price point. She lived higher up the mountain, kind of like $800,000. So she was snobby, and she was like picking this house apart, but she did sign in, right? So again, every day grow your database. She signed in, and I remember putting my notes like snobby, whatever, but she was in my database. And my overall database got this Mexican word of the day. Like a year and a half later, she gets this Mexican word of the day, and she responds by saying, haha, this was funny. And what it was, right, and it's like just a big image. At the top it says Mexican word of the day, and it says taco. And in the middle it has a guy with like a Mexico soccer shirt and big bigote and like a big sombrero. And it says taco, Mexican word of the day is taco. And at the bottom it says, let's talk about selling your house. Oh. And she replied back saying, haha, this was hilarious. I replied back, I didn't know who it was because I get a lot of these replies. Just replied back saying, I'm glad you liked it. Let me know if I can do anything. I'm here to serve. She replies back with, call me, I need you to see my house, my rental, I want to sell it. I go to my database and say, who is this lady? She's a snobby lady. I expect So I went to her rental. Her rental was like on 7th Street, just north of Northern. So kind of on the outside of Central Corridor. But the house was spotless. It was so detailed. So I was like, now I know why she's...
Yeah, now you know why. Yeah.
It was spotless. I listed her house, got multiple offers, went under contract in a week. And the point of the story is, every day you grow your database. And there's a reason for that. And I reach out to my overall database at least once a month with an email blast. You never know which email they're going to reach out to. You never know who's going to reach out. Well, one of them are going to reach out, like this lady, this snobby lady did, and I got her business. Okay? So every day you grow your database, every day I value to it. You take this, and I want you to adapt it to you. Change it to your personality and your budget and your lane. Okay? Thank you guys for coming. I know there's lunch next, and then we got to have... Yeah.
With all this work, how much deals do you close in average per month?
Last year, I closed 140 transactions last year. So that's about what...
Do the months vary?
They do vary. It varies depending on how the market is.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure, brother.
Right now.
Like, for example, in December, I only closed 4 deals in December. December, that month, I closed 4 deals in that month. This month, I'm on track to do like 22, 23.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I have a staff, I have a TC, I have a listing coordinator, I have an assistant. So I have a team a staff, not a team. I have a staff that they're W-2 employees and they work for me, and so they help me with a lot of the stuff with the top clients, a lot of this stuff. I have somebody that keeps me on track on that.
And what else, what kind of marketing are you doing besides management?
I do a little bit of Zillow, but I only spend like $800 on Zillow a month.
You buy leads?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But not that much.
Anything else?
I do open houses. I probably do one a month, an open house, not a whole lot. Most of my business 79% of my business comes from referrals from these people.
Okay.
Do you, at the open house, you have one of those sign-in books?
Oh yeah.
And what do you ask for?
name, phone number, address, and email. Yeah, and then it's also the so I do
And
the
do you get hassled about people not wanting to sign in?
I have, but I put a sign on the front door that says, "Welcome, please sign in per owner's request." And as soon as they open the door, they already saw that. As soon as they open the door, there's another sign that says, "Stop, please sign in per owner's request," and there's a sign-in sheet right next to it. So they said, "Well, I don't want to sign in. I can't let you through the house, but per safety, I have to let you have to sign in."
Okay.
And sometimes they only give you the name, they only give you their first and last name. But then I started asking questions, like, "Oh, thank you for coming. Do you live around here?" And a lot of them do. If
Yeah.
they say yes, then I go to Monsoon, I type in their first and last name in the area where I'm at, and about 55% of the time, I find them. So now I got their address, and I send a thank you card for coming to my open house.
And which part of town are you focusing? Do you work all over?
I'm all over the
valley?
place. I've been wanting to do farming. I've been wanting. That's one of those other things I've been wanting to do. I haven't gotten around to. I've been wanting to do farming, but I'm all over town. I think 85% of my business is West Valley, though.
Any price range?
Under 250 is
Under 250.
95. No, I say 90% of my business is under 250.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what sells.
Oh yeah.
No, everything sells.
And I'm half listing, half sellers, half buyers. So
Yeah.
I put a listing out there. So sure, not to be a listing agent.
Yeah.
Multiple offers, and you choose your title company, you choose your terms. It's beautiful.
I see, because I see a ton of clients all the time, and what I see, especially newer agents, is they spend a ton of money on farming, a ton, but they never stop and do what you just taught them. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever just reached out to your database? Like, well,
Right.
I've only taken time to do database yet.
Oh, I
Like,
think
you just spend thousands of dollars.
I think
sending
if you do
out this
farming
flyer
and you
nobody's
do
gonna
this-
read.
Well, farming gets you a database.
right. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Farming and do
right,
this.
But
Reach
they
out.
don't stop and think,
Yeah.
oh, I was just,
They
a
don't know.
teacher. Well, reach out to your former.
Yeah. If you notice on
students
here,
and say, I'm
like-
not teaching because.
like this week, I'm supposed to call my 2013 closed clients.
What?
This week, I'm supposed to call all my 2013 closed clients, right? And then throughout this list, you're going to see the 6 years I've been in the business, 2011, 2012. I need to reach out to them. Like once a week, I'm doing something. Reaching out to all my clients from this closing, all my closings from this year. Like every single week, a lot of calls. A lot of calls. If you don't have a little headset or whatever, invest in one. I got the Beats one, really nice and small. It doesn't get in your way. And then you have a little Bluetooth, like those, because you don't always have to be like this. You're next, real estate agents should be on their phone a lot. Real estate agents should be on their phone a lot. So if you're going to be on your phone a lot, you're going to get a neck cramp. I'm doing this too much. So get a little earpiece, headphone, something so you can be on the phone a lot.
Hey Daniel,
Yeah.
can you talk about your cheesecake follow-up?
Sure. So my cheesecakes, I only do it it's a Mother's Day. It's notice number 30, and it's in blue. It's in blue, and I only do it to my top 150 list because out of this top 160, I say only about maybe 80 to 90 of them are moms. So I only send out 80 to 90 cheesecakes. The follow-ups are I follow up with people who didn't, because you'll get a lot of thank yous that put pictures of the cheesecake, tagging you on Facebook, on social media. So that's free marketing too. And it's a homemade cheesecake by my mom. Actually, my mom makes homemade cheesecake, and
You
then
put your mom to work for Mother's Day.
yeah, I know. So I did. Oh, she makes money though. So big business write-off check to her. So she's really happy. And I get her some help. And I deliver about at least half of these. I deliver at least 30 to 40 of them. I hand deliver myself on Mother's Day. Now Mother's Day, Mexican Mother's Day actually is on May 10th. So that goes throughout the week. Let's say Thursday or Friday. And then, or let's say it's Wednesday or Thursday, I'll deliver those Wednesday to Thursday to the Mexican moms. And then on Friday, I'll deliver Mother's Day, for American moms because they're not going to be here. Sunday they're going to be busy, so I deliver those on Friday. So I deliver at least half of those. The other half, my assistant will deliver some, my TC will deliver some, and they love doing it. Like they're out of the office doing something, they'll deliver, so they love it. Yeah, and they like it because it's with clients that they know and that like them and they've been in touch with. So.
How
The follow.
about this for some marketing? I just got a text message from a inspector. I found your card on a kitchen countertop.
Nice.
I was inspecting, just wanted to send you my info for a backup inspector. That's good.
Yeah, that's smart. So to answer your question, the follow-up to the cheesecakes are following up with the moms who didn't send a text or post, because I just want to make sure they got it. And then every time they say, oh, I forgot to text you or call you, it's like, oh, I just want to make sure you got it. So those are the follow-ups. Any other questions? Cool. I think they're serving lunch right now, so get some lunch. And thank you for coming to the class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great class.
You can reach out to me on Facebook or by cell phone number or whatever, any questions you may have.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming to the class. It's cold in there.
It is cold.
Working.
Work.
And I'm trying to get the girls to the end of the school year.
Yeah.
3. Yeah. I know. My twins are in first grade, and then my little one's in preschool still, but it's a lot. How are you doing?
Not bad.
Good.
Oh my gosh, I think I have to go buy allergy medicine before this mastermind group.
Allergies are so bad
They're
right now.
so bad. I thought I
Brutal.
was getting away with it this year, and all of a sudden, like the last 2 days, I just feel.
I look like I'm crying
I
all
know.
the
I
time.
was looking at my eyes earlier. I'm like, I didn't think I smelled hot before I got
Right.
here.
Welcome to my home group.
Thank you.
I love this outfit. Well, this brokerage.
Yeah, like really good vibes all around.
All the time. It's always so positive.
Yeah, it's just running. Okay, I'm gonna go get some. That settles that. I just have so much to do today. I don't know if I'm gonna go back.
The mastermind. You been to their mastermind? It's good.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's worth coming back
I
for.
have so much to do. I have 3 closings this week. And just last thing.
Yeah, it's always fun that I make sure I'm back for.
Yeah,
So
it's
many.
at 1 or 12:30.
I like it.